All right. As you guys know, I like to talk. I get a mic and I get going and start to stop. So I'll try to be quick. This is our JV goal team. Before I get into introducing them, another thank you to Coach Jordan Erickson and Caleb Erickson who are out here. Former Tigers guys are also responsible for putting a couple of those championships up on the banners when the school first opened. So thank you, Coach Erickson, for being out there every week. Also, Mr. Chad Stabler, I don't know if he's in here, but he blew all those leaves off the courts every day so that we could have a nice clean court to practice and play on. So thank you, Chad, for doing that. Mr. Marsubian for being in practice with me every day as assistant coach, kept time for me and everything. So thank you, Coach Marsubian. And before I introduce these guys, I wrote down a couple of words just to kind of keep me on track. The first word I put was progress. Just the progress that these guys made all season long. Day one, we talked about this after our last game. Day one, I was thinking, okay, look back to how little you knew about basketball. And now, we've learned 5 different positions. We learned the proper technique for passing, dribbling, and shooting. We learned 2 different kinds of defense, zone and man, and had a great time doing it. And they made progress throughout the season. We always say every day and every way we get better and better, and they did. So I'm very proud of that. Another word I wrote down was brotherhood. Because, again, at the beginning of the season, these guys didn't even know each other's names. Our first game, they said, hey, 47, pass to me. Number 1, I'm open. Right? They didn't even know. And by the end of the season, they're calling out names for each other. And as you guys know, if anybody has a brother or a sister, you don't always see eye to eye with your brother and sister. Sometimes you might butt heads a little bit. And I'm sure, let's see, where's Garrett and Jacob? They could probably share some stories about that. But they did come together. And like a brother, you know, your brother, you might not always like him, but you always love him, you always respect him, and you always have his back. And whenever it was game day, we put on our uniforms. We were brothers in black, and we got each other's back. So, hey, that runs. Yeah, I got a talent, man. I don't know. Another word I wrote down was character. They say C-Team stands for character, and the outstanding character of this team was unbelievable. Just a great sportsmanship. I actually got an email from the Cole coach after a game. Rarely happens that you get an email from a coach that compliments you on the great character of your team. The Cole game was probably, I'm sure, one of the highlights for all these guys. It was actually a tie, but just an awesome game where we all played hard, we all had fun, and just outstanding character and great sportsmanship. Also, the Tarpey game, speaking of character, that I emailed the Tarpey principal and coach for something that they did for us. It was a play where they were inbounding the ball and they kind of, I think, let Matthew Marsubian get a steal and take a fast break up to the hoop. That was one of the highlights of the season for me, watching Matt go to the hoop with it. Didn't make it, but it was still pretty cool to watch. I also wrote down GSA, and that is Gentlemen Scholars Athletes. So just by a show of hands, how many guys received an academic award? Either high honor roll, principal's honor roll. Okay, that's what it's all about right there. School comes first, and these guys do that. They handle responsibility in the classroom. They have good character on and off the court, so I'm very proud of that. Now, the moment these guys have all been waiting for, before I get into our individual awards, they're baller nicknames, okay? Yeah, I know. That's my favorite part too. I had some fun doing that. Logan Anderson, aka Birdman, Mr. Assister. There he is. The Heat has Chris Anderson. He's a Birdman too, so it's okay. We got, yeah, you know Birdman, right? We got Ethan, Born the Ball Bell, aka SWAT Team. Gavin Shooter McGavin Blia, aka the Rainmaker. Jacob Cookie Cook. Logan Lefty Dillmore. Logan, I call him Lefty because he was out for most of the season with a broken arm, but he came back, recovered from the injury, and made it for the last couple of games. Jason, the Real Deal Doe. Jason was also a Tiger Award winner from last season. Austin, stealing like a villain Gillen, because he had more steals than anybody. Christian, the Goff Father Goff. I gotta thank Miss Bullfish for that one, and Mr. Goff, if you're here, you can use that. Goff Father, it's pretty good. Gabe, the Golden Boy Gould. Garrett, Amazing Grace. Dylan, Tenacious D. Madsen, aka Mad Dog. Matthew, is that all you got? Marsubian, aka Tiger Strong. He was a Coach's Award recipient last season. Corey, In It to Win It Win, aka The Quiet Storm. Drew, Dr. Drew Royal, aka Sleepy Smurf. I swear I thought he could take a nap in the middle of the game. He just went, okay, what's going on? This is one of my personal favorites. Nathaniel Reboundosaurus Rex Serrano. Ben Sir Bloxalot Sled, aka Big Country. Aiden All Business Township, aka GSA, the True Gentleman Scholar Athlete. Blake B. Dub Wagner, aka Big Daddy Swag. Elijah Spider-Man Webb, aka The Prophet. Mateo Skinny Jeans Zamora, aka MTP. We had a game, he didn't have shorts, he had his skinny jeans on, he was wearing a tie and a fedora during the game. I was like, okay, you can wear the tie, but lose the hat, man. He's got his skinny jeans on right now. And then of course, is that everybody? And our manager, of course, Faith Boots Gatley, aka You Got to Have Faith. She did help us a lot. She even made cookies for the team, which I thought was pretty awesome. Yeah, give her a round of applause for that. All right. Now, moving on to our individual awards. I'm going to start with an outstanding defensive player. And what we did, we had a team meeting where the guys all came in and we talked about what it means to be deserving of these awards. It's not a popularity contest. It's not about voting for your best friend. It's about voting for the player, your teammate, that is the most deserving. And give me a reason why. So our first one is outstanding defensive player, and that's Austin Gillen. Austin, like I said, I was keeping stats as best I could during the game, and he had more steals than anybody. Had to do with this, his quick feet, quick hands, and his intuition of knowing where the ball was going to be before it got there. And there was, I think it was the Target game, where he had like 8 steals in a row, but being an unselfish player, he would dish it off to Gavin and let him shoot. So again, unselfish play, being a good teammate, and outstanding defensive player, Austin Gillen. Which takes us to our outstanding offensive player, who I just mentioned, and that was Gavin Leah. By the way, there was a comment that a teammate put about Austin for offensive player, and they just put, Austin, because he's so offensive. And they voted for Gavin and said Gavin because he makes it rain. That's why he got the nickname Shooter McGavin, the Rainmaker. And he was one of the purest shooters. Kind of had a funny technique with how he shot. Had his feet stuck together like this, but it worked, so I wasn't going to try to fix it. But he just had a nice, pretty shot, and he did make it rain. I told him I had to put my hood on every time he was playing, because he was the Rainmaker, our outstanding offensive player, Mr. Gavin Leah. One more round of applause, yeah. Our next one is the Coach's Award, one award that I get to choose myself, and the team didn't choose, and that goes to Dylan Madsen. Dylan had so much passion for the game of basketball. He still comes to class every day with an NBA score sheet and a roster of everything that's going on in the NBA. Loved the game, and I got an email from his mom, hi Mrs. Madsen, that at one time Dylan was sick and missed a game on Friday, and he was just driving his mom crazy because he had to know how his team did. He had to know, did we win or did we lose, because he's that passionate about it. And I told him, Dylan, if you could just apply yourself to your homework like that, we really have something, you know? But again, he always played hard, gave it everything he got, and you can't ask for more than that as a coach. So Coach's Award goes to Dylan Madsen. And my final award is a Tiger Award voted by his teammates for our Character Council Award, and that's Aiden Township. And Aiden, like I said, his nickname is All Business GSA, Gentleman Scholar Athlete, because he doesn't talk about it, he is about it, right? We say don't talk about it, be about it, and he is. He was a true leader on the team, always had a positive attitude. Every possession, it didn't matter what the score was, he was playing like it was 0-0 with everything he had. Never got down, kept his teammates up, and had great character and positive leadership.